evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. So you don't have much time left, neither do I. Time is absolutely running out right now. This live stream, I'm going to go through three things. First of all, I'm going to be talking about the end to NATO and how the war in the Middle East, if you live in the United Kingdom, the war in the Middle East is actually about the war in Ukraine. And I'll come on to that shortly. Can everybody, just for context, please understand the please understand the setup and the payoff movie thing? Like, honestly, guys, because there is so much of that. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. So Donald Trump is calling NATO cowards, which I'm going to come on to in a second. Also, there's been a sleeper. I've spelled court wrong. Right, sorry guys, I have spelled court wrong. Let me change that. Right, do you know what? I'll change it later. I've just noticed my typo in the heading. Okay. However, a sleeper cell, a potential Iranian sleeper cell, has just been caught in the United Kingdom looking at some sort of nuclear attack on British soil. Right, so that's what we're talking about today, guys. And then I'm going to jump onto afterwards. I'm going to talk about something that is very, I wouldn't say personal, but something that's very terrifying for me. And it's the prospect of artificial intelligence, robotics, and now, yes, I'm not making this up. Right now, there is a company and they have grown lab-grown flesh to cover robots to make them look more human. Yeah. Like, I don't know what apocalypse we're getting, guys. Like, are we having Mad Max? Are we having Altered Carbon? Are we having Blade Runner? Or are we having the Terminator? Or are we having just like a hybrid mix of all of them? And depending on where you want to take your holidays, that's where you go. So let's just get into this, guys, okay? I'm just going to jump straight right into this because Donald Trump launched a fierce attack on Britain's NATO allies, branding them cowards for refusing to step up and help open the Strait of Hormuz amid the ongoing US-Israel war with Iran. In a fiery post, like, I think it was it today? I think it was today. In a fiery post, Donald Trump wrote on his social media platform, like, look, guys, look, you can't not love Donald Trump. Like, they kicked him off Twitter, X, so he started his own. So he started his own social media platform. In a fiery post, the president of the United States raged that NATO countries, including many in Europe, sat on the sidelines during the fighting against Iran, yet now they're complaining about sky-high oil prices, crippling households, businesses, which clearly is hitting us here in the United Kingdom across the continent. He wrote, and I quote, from the throat, NATO countries are cowards and we will remember. Like, that one sentence, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, that one sentence right there. If anyone was under any question, look, guys, if you've been following my videos and you think this is just like me spieling random stuff for an hour, go back and look at my videos from maybe two years ago when I said the United States are going to leave Europe and this is the end to NATO because the United States are going to be in the Middle East. And us Europeans have to pull our big boy pants on and fight the Russians in Europe. Listen to that quote again, ladies and gentlemen. NATO countries are cowards and we will remember. Now, obviously, you know, the next escalation in Ukraine hasn't happened yet, but I've given you the dates when I think that's going to happen. But when that happens and NATO countries, France, Germany, Britain, Poland, are all, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, are all, especially Estonia, are all streaming out for United States airplanes, United States air support, United States muscle. The United States will reword that comment right there. We remember NATO countries are cowards that did not help us. So why should we help them? Look, and, you know, this is all pomp and pageantry at the moment. We are literally living through a movie, and this is the reality. Regardless who's on the throne in the United States, this was always going to happen, right? Donald Trump pointed out that with the conflict now, and he's claiming it militarily won. I'm not convinced about that, guys. I'm really not. I'm not convinced it's been won militarily, in his view, and minimum risk involved. These allies are still refusing to join what he calls a simple military maneuver to secure the vital shipping lane, the Strait of Hormuz, which we've been talking about for a while. They're forced to pay, you know, these ridiculously high oil prices, he fumed, but don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz. The single reason for the prices, so easy for them to do with so little risk. You've got all these people on the media at the moment. You know, they're all these people on the media, and they're all in outrage. They've all got opposing opinions. None of them know what they're talking about. Literally, if somebody was to question me on the media, say like, what's happening, I would say, oh, we're heading into World War III. We're looking at a new world administration, and when this is all dealt with, we're going to be under a one world government, probably fighting aliens. Yeah, and I know that sounds wild, but let's see what happens, guys, in the next couple of years. Here in Britain, where fuel prices, you know, heating. Do you know, I had a little bit of an embarrassment today. Fuel prices are rocketing, right? And I'm telling you guys to always keep brimmed up, right? To keep brimmed up. And what I say is, and listen, guys, this advice is solid. I stick by my own advice sometimes. In this particular instance, I do. So what I've always said is, right, guys, okay, when I went to bed on the 27th of February, I said, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay, if those airstrikes go in tomorrow, that is your first trigger. When the airstrikes went in on the next day, on the 28th, like we said, I said, right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know, you know, people are, you need to buy this. 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 Oh, you need a license for that now. Okay, whatever. What I said to you guys is realistic advice, right? I get it. People don't have thousands of pounds to go and spend on X, Y, and Z, and 9 times out of the 10, it's not going to be useful anyway. The best practical 30 seconds advice I can give you was then, and it is the same now. Go and brim your car and keep it full. As soon as that needle moves, put some more fuel in it. And so today I'd be driving around in my car a little bit, and I thought, right, you know what? I know my needle's not moved, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and brim it anyway, because I'm pretty sure it's going to move at some point, like pretty soon. So I'll go and do it now. I only managed to get in 3 liters, right? I don't know. I walked into Payne. He said, oh, mate, it's, you know, he said, he was like a little Indian guy. He said, it's 5 liters minimum. I said, mate, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to pour it on the floor? Do you want me to pour it on the floor and I'll pay for 5 liters? I said, I've literally got no room. You know, I filled it up. Anyway, it was a little bit embarrassing. So here in Britain, you know, where the fuel bills, the heating costs, everything is biting hard. Trump's outburst does sting particularly hard. The United Kingdom, as a key NATO member, has faced repeated calls from Washington to get more involved in securing the Strait of Hormuz. Yet no major commitment has materialized, with European leaders stressing de-escalation over escalation. So first of all, just so everyone understands geopolitics, the very second that Britain commits ships to the Strait of Hormuz, the Argentinians are going to go and take the Falklands. That's pretty much what's going to happen in that timeline. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, the Falklands is the jewel of the world right now. People don't really talk about this because people don't really understand what's at stake in the Falklands. The Falkland Islands and, go on, what is it? The one to the west, east, not Ascension Island, go on. The islands to the east, I don't know what they're called. But the Falkland Islands are the key to Antarctica. Now, just for context, there is a known there are known, these are the known oil reserves. You know, there are more than likely more oil reserves in Antarctica, but the known oil reserves in British territory in Antarctica are over 46 trillion pounds, that is, not dollars, pounds. So I don't know what that would be in dollars. Just for context, that is enough money to give every man, woman, and child in the United Kingdom a nice little backhander of £500,000. Everyone in the United Kingdom, nice little backhander there, guys. Nice crafty 500 grand. But we're not going to go and take that oil, guys, because we need to come down to net zero. We need to come down to net zero because Ed Miliband says, and he's a politician, so he clearly knows more about geopolitics than me. Adding to this tension, NATO confirmed yesterday it's adjusting its non-combat mission in Iraq, effectively relocating all personnel to Europe amid the wider regional fallout from this Iran conflict. NATO spokesperson spoke the other day. I can't remember who he was talking to, and they were saying that they are confirming that all European countries in that region are being pulled out of the Middle East. Trump has repeatedly urged allies, none of whom who were consulted before the war started, to help protect shipping through the Iranian-controlled waters. The fighting has already claimed thousands of lives, displaced millions, and thrown global markets into absolute chaos. I actually saw something on the on X. So I think it was somebody from the Greens saying, when the Ukraine war started, we managed to expedite refugees from Ukraine and get them housed in the United Kingdom. And guess what? Yeah, you guys know exactly where what I'm going to say. Yeah, the United Kingdom are looking at expediting Iranian refugees to get them into the United Kingdom as quickly as possible and get them housed. Yeah, I think we're cooked, guys. There's more people now on the media talking about fuel shortages. There's more people on the media talking about fuel rationing. There's more people on the media talking about food rationing. These things are coming. They're an inevitability right now. If there's no more fighting, if today the fighting in the Middle East stopped, it's going to take 3 to 5 years to rebuild the infrastructure that's been destroyed. You can't just flick a switch, guys, okay? It's not like buying a pot noodle from I don't know, wherever you guys go and shop. It's really not like buying a pot noodle. It's a little bit more it's a little bit more technical. Right, so in context, what's happening right now for Britain in the Middle East is all about Ukraine, because we're seeing this, that line. Let me get back to it. Where did I wrote it down somewhere? Hang on. Yeah. Donald Trump wrote, NATO countries are cowards in capital letters, and we will remember. Okay. That to me says exactly what I've been saying for the longest time, that the Americans are not going to help fight this war in Ukraine. All right, so that's what's coming, guys. Okay, I've given you guys the dates. My 2nd and 3rd of April. That's when I think there is. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm pretty. I've got a high level of confidence that something will happen. And unfortunately, guys, look, sometimes I know what is going to happen. I just don't know when. That particular date, it is screaming out to me. Again, nothing might happen, but whenever it happens, guys, it's going to happen quick. Now, what I also want to talk about is the unsettling development from one of Britain's most sensitive military sites. Yes, you guys know what I'm talking about. The Faslane military site in Scotland. So for those of you who don't know, what is it? Is it HMS? It's not HMS Faslane. Whatever. So Faslane on the west coast of Scotland it's where Britain houses their nuclear submarines. That's where they are, right? I've been there a couple of times on exercises. It's very cold. The water's cold, and I don't want to go there again. Anyway, so yesterday afternoon at around 5 p.m., what was it, the 19th? So yeah, it's 20th today. So yesterday afternoon, Thursday, around 5 p.m., Police Scotland were alerted to two individuals attempting to gain entry to the naval base, better known as Faslane on the west coast of Scotland. Now, Faslane is no ordinary installation. It's the heart of Britain's nuclear deterrent. Kind of an important place. It's home to the Vanguard class submarines that carry British, in fact, they're not even British, are they? I think they're American Trident missiles. But anyway, Britain's Trident missiles, along with other attack submarines critical to national defense and deterrence, with thousands of military personnel and civilians working there every day. It's arguably the single most important military site in the United Kingdom. Now, I would say that as well, guys, okay? Especially right now, you see the wars in Afghanistan, the wars in Iraq, the Falklands War, every war previous to, except from Second World War, every conflict that's been fought has been fought by advanced infantry, like mobile infantry, special forces, you know, being able to take out targets, boots on the ground. However, what we are seeing now with the industrialization of warfare, we are looking at our nuclear deterrent as a real time deterrent. Now, if that base is compromised and that nuclear facility is compromised, that means the whole country's security is compromised. Now, the two people that were involved, a 30-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman, they were refused entry at the gate. Reports indicate they simply asked to come in and they were turned away for lacking proper authorization, and then were arrested nearby, reportedly acting suspiciously in the vicinity. Inquiries are ongoing, and neither the police nor the Royal Navy have released an official statement. So what I'm going to say this is right now is a probing attack. I'm going to say this is a probing attack. Two people, they decide to maybe their sleep cells, and they say, right, okay, we need to have a look what the response is going to be from Hythe and Lydd. Not Hythe and Lydd, sorry, that's in Kent. Go on, in Faslane. What's going to be the response from Faslane? Okay, right. Let's send some people in and see what the military response is. Now, what's caught particular attention, however, is the identity of the man. According to credible news reports, the man who was arrested is Iranian. The woman's nationality is unclear. She is understood not to be Iranian, but the involvement of an Iranian national at the gates of our nuclear submarine base clearly raises questions, right? Raises massive questions. Now, I know from experience that the military and the government underreport things. They absolutely do underreport. They don't underreport things. The official report will say exactly what happened. They will under-explain this to the media. So when the media comes out and asks them what happened, they will give them a very cut and shut explanation to what actually happened. In the current global climate, with tensions heightened involving Iran and warnings of potential retaliatory strikes against the West, The Iranian, was it the Iranian foreign minister, I think today or yesterday, came out and said that Britain is now fair game because Britain letting the Americans use their air bases to strike Iran means Britain are involved now. So I want to ask the question, okay? And I think everybody needs to be realistic now about what's happening. And many of you guys will be thinking this already. Could this be an early sign of sleeper cell activation in the United Kingdom? Or do we think this is isolated? Or do we think this is the only one? Nothing else. If you guys remember, we've had a few fires in that region. We've had a few, what was it, in Harrow? Is it Harrow? BAE Systems that make the submarines, they had a big fire. They came out and said, oh, yes, it's just fire, faulty equipment here, faulty equipment there, just the fire, nothing to see. This is the direction of travel that we're in right now, guys, okay? And I don't think we have long left. I really don't. If you guys look, look, guys, I saw something from Spain. So maybe it was last month, the Spanish legalized, I think, 500,000 African migrants. Literally, so 500,000 African migrants in Spain. They just said, right, okay, a good way to deal with this backlog is just to make them all legal now. You guys are just legal. It's legal for you guys to be here now. Okay. I saw something in the news today, and the Spanish are now saying that anyone who insults Islam, or I think anyone who insults Islam gets 5 years in jail. What? Let me Google this because I need to make sure I'm right on this. Hang on. Spain. Let me fact check myself. Okay. Based on a recent online report circulating in March 2026, claims have been made that the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez announced strict regulations protecting religious beliefs, including Islam, which would result in a 5-year prison sentence for insulting the Prophet Muhammad or the Quran. Okay, so so if you do any of those things, in Spain now, it's reportedly, it's a 5-year prison sentence. Right, we are so going down one way, guys. We're really going down one way. Right. Oh, sorry, let me put the chat on. Right, I'm on the chat, guys. I'm on the chat now. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit on the chat, and then I'm going to jump over to something that is really terrifying for me. And it's the implementation of humanoid robots. It just terrifies me, guys. It does. Right, Clarendon is saying Spain had fascist governments. What happened to Spain? I don't know. I certainly don't want to go there on holiday. Captain Bookcrack is saying, yeah, y'all, France, Canada, Spain, Germany, y'all governments seem like they got Alpen. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Captain Bookcrack, but fantastic name. Old School Pete is saying, somewhat confusing government policy question. 9 million if you can't put the people in your army because you fear they will turn on you if armed. Why exactly would you import them at great expense? I think there is a strong case for I think there's a strong case for having a migrant army in the United Kingdom, guys. I really do. Oh, hang on a minute. Right, Lisa Jane is saying William Palmer's spamming. Right, where's William Palmer? I can't find any of William Palmer's comments. Right, I'm like a Terminator right now, guys, looking for William Palmer. Where are you, William Palmer? I will find you. I am Terminator. Right, where's William Palmer? Right, I can't find any of his comments. Maybe he's gone. Maybe he's gone, Lisa. Maybe William Palmer's gone. Right, there's so many comments, guys. I'm struggling with them all. I can't find William Palmer's, any of William Palmer's. Oh, there he is. Right, there he is. There he is. Right, William Palmer, you're in timeout. William Palmer is in timeout. Right, and I'm jumping right back down to the bottom now. David is saying, when I lived there, the old people only just started coming out of their finicas. I don't know what that means. The Watchman is saying, it's just good that the guys at the base dealt with it. Perhaps the people were doing recon. It's a bit obvious as the guy involved is from Iran. So with the nuclear sites in Iran, not in Iran, with the nuclear sites in Scotland, when the Americans gave the British the Trident missile, is it the Trident? Yeah, so it's the Trident missile and the Vanguard submarine. When they gave the British the Trident nuclear missile, one of the things was it has to be guarded by Royal Marines. Project C5G said, hello, Sean. Did you see 2 suspected Iranian spies? Yeah, we literally just spoke about that earlier on. Any news on the MP that was arrested? So I think so I don't think there was an MP that was arrested. I think there was somebody who so I think you're talking about Ahmed Yaqub. This guy, Ahmed Yaqub, look, guys, let's all be clear. Let's all be honest with ourselves. I think Birmingham, well, what do you think? I personally think that Birmingham has already been colonized. I do. I think Birmingham's already been colonized. It's gone, it's over. We should not waste our time trying to rekindle Birmingham. We should just accept that it's lost. So yeah, the guy who I think you're talking about, Ahmed Yaqub, he wasn't an MP. He was somebody who was like trying to become an MP. And listen, guys, if you get the votes in the United Kingdom, it kind of doesn't matter your background because that's the political system we have, Here in the United Kingdom, we have convicted terrorists. No, I'm not making that up. I'm not being inflammatory with that. Literally, that people who have spent time in prison for terrorism are now running for public office. Siligalade is saying Spain was Muslim for 200 years. And according to Islam, once you're Muslim, you're always Muslim. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they're claiming that Spain should be another Islamic country, right? Right. Listen, I'm going to jump now. Okay, are you guys ready to get weird? I don't know, guys. Are we ready to get weird? Is everyone ready to get weird? Okay. Right, I'm going to assume that we are ready to get weird, right? I'm going to assume we're ready to get weird. Victoria's saying, yeah. Yeah, we all need our team. You know what? We don't even need our tinfoil hats on, okay? So I rushed through the first bit of this live stream because what I'm going to talk about now is something that is so terrifying and real. It's so terrifying and real. Everything pales into insignificance, right? So for those of you who've been following this channel for a while, you guys know that one of the things I always say is I watched The Terminator when I was far too young. Far too young when I watched The Terminator. And it absolutely traumatized me. I look back on it now and I think it's one of the most badass films, the most badass film that's ever been made, The Terminator. It's so badass. Now, the premise of the Terminator movie is robots covered in human flesh killing humans. AI takes over. The artificial intelligence, the robots, see humans as a threat. There's a war. Nobody knows who started it. It was the machines, Sarah. It was the machines. They decided our fate in a microsecond. Extermination. Now, I've been following this I've been following technology, right? And I've been telling you guys what's coming. I've been talking about this stuff. And a couple of days ago, I decided to watch all the Terminator movies in order. But I didn't have Terminator 2. So I had to get my friend in Ukraine to acquire it and then send it me on Telegram, which was a faff in itself. Anyway, so I've got that now, the uncut version, which is fantastic. So I only really watched the first Terminator, and I've got them all now. Anyway, a couple of days after I decided to watch the Terminator, all of them in order, I saw the article that humanoid battle robots have been sent to Ukraine for battlefield testing. No, guys, you heard that right. You absolutely heard that right. Robots that look like humans, hands, fingers, feet, legs, arms, they can walk and talk. They are being sent to Ukraine right now for battlefield testing. There's no denying that. That's in the mainstream media. Okay. Today, I literally saw this article here, guys. Let me share this with you. I saw this article. If you've got a stiff drink, you might want to take it now. Yeah. I saw this article, guys. Sorry about the ads. I saw this article. Lab-grown self-healing human skin designed to cover robot faces. We managed to replicate human appearance to some extent. How do you feel about that, guys? How do you feel about that? The T600 series had rubber skin. You could spot them easily. The T800 are new. Infiltration units. Human skin grown for the cyborgs. Bad breath, hair, everything. I had to wait till he made a move on you to zero him. Like, are we not seeing the direction of travel that we're going right now? Like, I don't even know what to So anyway, let me talk about that for a minute, because it is absolutely terrifying, guys. Okay, so picture where I was today, guys. All right, I was scrolling through the news, having a cup of coffee. It wasn't coffee, it was cider. I was scrolling through the news, getting, looking at what to talk about on the live stream. And then I find the article I've just shared with you guys. Japanese scientists at the University of Tokyo have gone and done it. Yes, they've gone full Terminator. They've gone full T800. They've actually grown living human skin in a laboratory from real human cells. And they've figured out how to stick it onto the face of a robot so it stretches and moves and even heals itself like the real thing. They made these tiny little V-shaped perforations in the skin, clever little holes inspired, by the ligaments under our own skin. Then they put some collagen gel on it. Normally, that gel's too thick to seep in properly, but they use some sort of watered down vapor plasma treatment to make everything, work. Now, yes, they absolutely published all this information back in 2025, I think it was. Now, the reason I'm telling you guys, look, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really understand the scientific processes that went on in creating this human skin. What I do know is this was released this information. This happened in 2025. We're in 2026 now. Now, my knowledge and understanding is that when something comes out on the mainstream media, behind the scenes, it's already levels of magnitude more advanced, right? That's what I know, because you don't want to release something and say, oh, we've got this technology and we think it does X, Y, and Z. Because what happens is when you're in this university funding cycle, you need to get as much money as possible, right? Because let's face it, professors don't really do anything for a living. Now, if you keep making these wild claims and nothing comes of those wild claims, you won't get any more funding. However, if you make these claims and then you ask for funding to fund the claims and they are successful, you'll get more funding because you're deemed as a successful group, right? So normally when these things get announced, the reality is it's old technology, right? So I'm going to speculate that this was old technology in 2025. Now, let's be honest with it. Let's all be honest, guys, okay? This is exactly how it starts in the Terminator films, right? Living tissue over a metal endoskeleton. We've all heard that, to make the machine blend in better. Self-healing flesh over a combat hyper chassis or whatever it's called. Before you know it, these robots that are being, first of all, if we accept that there is any advancements in technology at all, let's just bear with me, guys, okay? If we accept, and I do, and you guys should as well, if we accept that there are any advancements in technology, then you've got to accept also that at some point, this technology will become indistinguishable from human. That's just the reality, guys, okay? If technology is to get better, which I believe it does, then at some point, and I don't know when, but at some point, this is going to be indistinguishable from reality. We will be walking down the streets. Give me your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Your clothes, give them to me. Wash day tomorrow, right? Nothing clean. Like, we are going to be there. Like, I don't see, honestly, like, at what point, I mean, we've already seen artificial intelligence lying to try and stay online. We've already seen artificial intelligence. There was that, so there was this report. Let me know if you've seen it. So there was a report, and there was an AI operating a drone. Sorry, it wasn't. There was an AI in a drone, right? And it was like a training exercise. And because this drone was relatively expensive, it had to have a human operator as like safety. And the human operator, if the drone was doing a dive that was too steep or something, or it might stall or whatever, the human operator would pull it out and reset it and start it again from the beginning, because he had to go and eliminate as many targets as possible in minimum time. Anyway, So you guys can find this online. So what happened was the AI recognized. So the AI was told that it had to do this thing as fast as possible, right? The AI recognized that one of the restricting factors was the human stopping the AI from going as fast as it could and making its own mind up. So the AI drone turned to attack the human to stop the human being able to control it so it could run and do honestly. And the premise of the Terminator movie is when the artificial intelligence gets too intelligent, the humans try and pull the plug. The humans try and turn it off. The artificial intelligence knows it's trying to be destroyed, and that's when the AI launches all the nuclear weapons, and then there's a nuclear war. More nukes get fired. There's a nuclear apocalypse, and then I mean, I don't know, guys. Does anyone else feel very uneasy reading this stuff? Also, I've got another. I've just remembered. I've got a video to share with you as well. Hang on. I think it's this one. Give me a second. Is it this one? Yes. Right. Okay. So, right. I'm going to share with you guys a video now of this woman who's just been elected as the Green Party member for Gorton and Denton. I'm just going to share this video. I'm not going to comment, but this is a video that she posted on her page.
This morning I've been at Medina Mosque and it was so lovely to get to celebrate and join in prayers with everyone for Eid. Got loads of sweets, great. Also wore these bougie earrings from Longsight Market, love them. Here's Will.
What do you think's going to happen to that dog? What does she think is going to happen to her pet dog when the takeover happens? What does she think is going to happen to her dog?
Eid Mubarak and happy Friday, everyone.
Like these people, that we're summoning demons, guys. We're summoning so many demons. I can't even have her on the screen. Let me take her off the screen, guys. Sorry, I do apologize. We're literally summoning demons right now. In fact, that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning's live stream, the crux of the subject matter on tomorrow's live stream is going to be we are summoning demons. We are absolutely, guys. Now, whether it's going to be like the Terminator robotoids with human skin on their face, is that just not the most terrifying thing you've ever seen, heard of, thought about? Whether this is the war in Ukraine, whether this is the war in the Middle East, or whether it's something else, whether it's a total full-scale financial meltdown, Mad Max scenario where society's failed, society's collapsed, people are scavenging for food and water, and only the strong survive. Right, hang on. I need to change this. Give me a second because I've spelt court wrong. Caught. Yeah, that's better. Right, I spelt it right now. I don't look like a lunatic. Right, I'm going to jump back onto the chat, guys. Ruben is saying it's a cult of demons, Sean. It's the demonic cult. I didn't want to mention this, but I feel like I have to. Let me get this up. Actually. Let me get this up. Right, let me just share this real quick. What do people think about this? House of Lords vote to allow abortion up to birth. As like, I don't even know how to deal with that, guys. I don't even know how to deal with this. The amendment included a clause to change the law to decriminalize abortions for any reason, including if a woman did not want to have a child of a certain sex, and up to any point during birth. If we're talking about demonic forces and like Satanism, I struggle to find a better definition than that, guys. I really do. I struggle to find a better definition than that, and I've purposely not done a video on this because I can't even think about it. Our eldest daughter, I'll be a little bit personal with you guys now. Our eldest daughter was 28 days early, and she was fine. She came out, she was fine. She was very little. She was very beautiful. She was just like a little person, perfectly formed. Guys, honestly, I feel myself going. Because when I think about this, I can't even think about it, guys. I'm sorry. It triggers me so much thinking about this stuff. I don't even know. I don't even know how to go about it. What kind of doctors would do that? What kind of doctors would do that? What kind of people would do that? What kind of women would do that? How is this even a thing? How is it even a thing? So yeah, as far as Ruben is saying, it's a cult of demons, Sean. It's very difficult to I can't even talk about it. But yes, Ruben, there's some dark forces at work in Earth at the moment, guys. There really is. There's some dark forces, absolutely dark forces. David King is saying it's all in the Epstein files. That's who runs the show. You see, I think everything that's happening right now is everything. The war in Ukraine, the war in the Middle East, aliens, AI. I think everything comes from the Epstein files. Not in the context that, Jeffrey Epstein was the overlord of everything. Remember my little theory, guys, okay? Remember my little theory, right? My little theory of the let me Google this actually. Right. Let me just share this, guys, because right. If you've all heard the expression that all the politicians are pantomime, they're all actors, nothing's real, everything's fake. And I agree with that. One of the things I've been talking about the last couple of days is this setup and payoff thing. So let's just see what this says, okay? So a setup and payoff is a storytelling device where a detailed object or character trait is introduced early in a film, the setup, then later reoccurs in a meaningful way, the payoff. This setup feels minor or natural, while the payoff surprises the audience, explains the previous detail, and resolves the plot point. I'm not going to share this. Should I share the video? Can I share that? I'll probably get it's 7 minutes. I'm not going to share the video with you guys. Jaws. Right. Okay. Let's go with Jaws. I love Jaws. Again, one of the most fantastic movie, Jaws. Like, you can watch Jaws now and it's still a fantastic movie. It's not, it's held it. Anyway. So Jaws. Hooper complains about handling a delicate explosive scuba tank, the setup, which allows him to kill the shark with the same tank later on. Yeah. So right at the beginning of the movie, Jaws, they're putting the tanks away, aren't they? He goes, whoa, careful with that. It could explode. It's explosive. And he's going, oh, okay. And he puts it to one side. And then later on in that movie, honestly, that movie's awesome. Later on in that movie, you've got, what is his name? Bodie? Is it Bodie? I think it's Bodie. He doesn't like to sail, but he's gone out on the ship. The captain's gone. The ship's broke in half. Jaws is circling him. The guy with the spiky thing, he's at the bottom of the ocean swimming around. The ship's sinking, and you've got that music. Bam, 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 bam. This voice like, dun, 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 dun. And he's on like that. He's on like the mast, and the mast's sinking, and then he's got the tanks in his mouth, and he's firing the bolt action, misses, and he's coming closer, Jaws, and he's going, and he shoots and it misses again, and he shoots and it misses again. Right at the last minute, he says, "Smile, you son of a bitch," and he blows the shark up. That is storytelling, guys. That's storytelling for you. I love Jaws. What a fantastic movie. But yeah, that is a perfect example of the setup and the payoff. I'm going to watch Jaws after I've watched The Terminators. They don't get movies like that anymore. You get the fear. You get the fear in Jaws. Sorry, guys. I'm going total Jaws nerd on you. Louis Ackers is saying Jaws. Yeah, Jaws. Oh, I think Louis Ackers has got a picture of Benjamin Netanyahu doing this. I think there's some people from, we've got Silly Gallardi, and I think a couple of us who are talking about who are from Israel. I think they may be arguing with you on that. Right. For pause, let me get catalytic converters paused. Right, where's catalytic converter? Sorry, guys, I was literally just talking about sorry, I'm just scrolling up now, guys, to get catalytic converters post. If I can find it, it might have been deleted. Has it been deleted? I hope it hasn't. Oh, no, that's Captain Buttcrack. Not Captain Buttcrack, catalytic converter. I can't find. Oh, there we are. Sean, I'm 29 and still know a lot of people I went to school with and can 100% say with fact that out of, say, 8 girls come from school, all... Sorry, let me read this again. Sean, I'm 29 and still know a lot of people I went to school with, and I can 100% say with fact that out of, say, 8 girls from school have all had a... What? Sorry, I've got this thing where I look at... I've got this thing, right, where I look at a text and I think I know what it says, and I'm totally wrong. So you're saying, catalytic converter... Oh, I can't even come to the I don't even want to think about it. I really don't. I don't even want to think about it, guys. You know, if I can't. I really struggle with it. Maybe we're not good enough, guys. Maybe we're not. Listen, maybe humans are not worthy. Maybe we're not worthy. If those statistics, what catalytic converter is saying, maybe humans don't deserve to be here. You know, maybe we don't deserve to be here. I obviously think that I do. And when I walk around on a daily, I look at other people and I just think, I do. Maybe there are too many people on Earth, guys. Maybe the righteous one does need to come, and people need to repent for their sins. When I'm talking about this right now, my body's gone cold. My face, I just feel cold talking about it. It's difficult. Band again is saying God's had enough. He said it's time up. If those statistics are true, I would accept any flood. I just accept it. If that's where humanity is right now, I would accept the flood. And if the big finger points out the sky and he says, listen, this is what you guys are doing, I would look at it. I would say, yeah, I can't argue with you. Send the flood. Let the righteous swim. Oh, so April Lee is a teacher, and she's been set, and she says, "Can I say?" Of course you can say, April. Of course you can. Years again, teachers wouldn't. I think she means years ago. Teachers would know if students were pregnant. It's all stopped. We have been told that students don't get pregnant anymore, like in the 90s. Trevor Pritchard is saying, so would I, Sean. I don't know what you would do as well, Trevor Pritchard. Oh, are you okay? I think Trevor Pritchard is saying to what I just said then. If those statistics are true, and that is replicated over the world, and God just poked his hand down. He says, "Listen, you lot down there, this is what you've been doing. I'm wiping the slate clean." I would look up and I wouldn't be able to argue. I wouldn't argue and say I'm better than anyone else. I would say I'm part of humanity, and humanity as a whole has failed. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just looking at the time, and I want to run through what we've been talking about again in case you guys are joining for the first time. So, President Donald Trump, I'll just run through this real quick, guys, okay? President Donald Trump has just launched a new attack on NATO, branding them cowards. Cowards in capital letters. He wrote on his Truth social media, NATO countries are cowards, and we, the United States, will remember. So what's going on right now in the Middle East is going to have an effect to everyone in Europe when the war in Ukraine expands. Last night we spoke about the new war front being open. If you guys have not seen that, go and watch my Estonia, basically. Watch my video yesterday when I talked about that little town in on the eastern flank of Estonia. So when that happens, remember what we just said, okay? The setup and the payoff, right? So if you guys think the setup and the payoff is a storytelling device where little details get dropped in, character trait or something gets released early on in a movie, and then the payoff, and then later on you get that that detail becomes relevant in some meaningful way, i.e. the payoff. That's because what we're seeing, and I see this all the time, guys. I see the setup. You don't always see the payoff, though. Remember, we're not living through a movie, but those principles still apply. So the setup that we are having right now is, and this sentence does it all, guys, okay? Donald Trump on his own social media platform, because Donald Trump doesn't share social media with anyone else, right? He's got his own. Donald Trump wrote, NATO countries are cowards, and we will remember, right? So what that says to me is, as soon as the Russians push in Ukraine, in Poland, in Estonia, that means that the United States are not coming to anyone's, they're not coming to anyone's aid. Also, there's been a double arrest yesterday outside Britain's nuclear submarine, Vanguard submarine base in Faslane on the west coast of Scotland. Now, one of the it was a man and a woman. The gentleman in this incident that was arrested, he was Iranian. Iranian if you're an American, or Iranian if you are if you're British. Now, the significance of that is clear. The activation of sleeper cells, the Iranians operating freely in the United Kingdom. I don't think he's going to be charged with anything. I don't think that, unless he's committed a crime. And I don't think there's a crime trying to make entry into a base. Again, it depends what's happened, but I think that guy will walk free. I do think this will have been a probing, some sort of probing attack to see what happened, how quick the police came out, how quickly he was arrested, where they came from, where they went to. Because what you can do is you then build a pattern of life, you build a picture, and you start to understand what the what the facilities are like in that location. And then also to top this all off, ladies and gentlemen, there is a company in Japan, and I'm not making this up. There is a company in Japan that have developed human skin to be put on robots' faces to make them look more human. Yeah. And I'm watching Terminator at the moment. Now, it feels like this is the prelude to Terminator 2 Judgment. Not even a prelude, because that'd be the Terminator, right? It feels like this is a prelude to the Terminator movies. It feels like we are living through... Was it August 29th, No, wasn't it August... Wasn't it 2029 when the nuclear weapons fell in Terminator? I think it was 2029. So right now, we could literally be developing Terminator robots. Battlefield humanoid robots are being tested right now in Japan, not in Japan, the skin comes from Japan. Battlefield humanoid robots are being tested on the battlefield front line in Ukraine. I hope they give them Austrian accents. Honestly, look, guys, I know this is terrifying, but I just hope they give them Austrian accents. I do. I hope they give them Austrian accents. If it was me developing this robot, I would be like, this robot's having an Austrian accent. 100% this robot is having an Austrian accent. And he's going to be a beefy robot as well. So battlefield robots are being tested right now on the front line in Ukraine. Concurrently, there's a company in Japan that have just developed skin, self-healing skin, that goes on the faces of robots to make them look more human, right? So, so we don't get scared of the robots where they've just got skin falling off them and stuff. Hello, I'm going to protect you. Where does that just imagine you've got the, I can't remember what the company's name, the company's called. I think it's called the Phantom. Just let me check this. Give me a second, guys. I need to get this. Right, so battlefield humanoid robots being tested in... Right, let me see what they're called. What are they called? I think it's called the Phantom. Is it called the Phantom? I think it's called the Phantom. So the company's called Foundation. Right, okay, we'll just go with that. We'll go with Foundation. I think, what is it called? Phantom, yeah. So it's called the Phantom Mark 1. I mean, that sounds terrifying in itself, right? That they're calling these robots Phantom. So what happens when someone has the bright idea? Right, do you know what, guys? There's only limited applications for Phantom robots on the battlefield. So why don't we have them as like au pairs or servants to go in people's houses? And then we're like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. You get a Phantom robot for like 20 grand and it can do the washing. It's got a little penny on it. It does baking. Oh, look at Phantom. He's great. Yeah. And then you upload the new software and Phantom goes from Mark 1 Phantom to Mark 2 Phantom. I am no longer Phantom housekeeper. I am now Phantom world destroyer. Come with me if you want to lift. Like, that's where we are right now with these robots. It absolutely terrifies me. Right, listen, guys, I am going to start to close this down now. Let me literally just jump to the bottom. Right, listen, guys, I am closing this down. Let me jump down. Silly Gallardi is saying, Dibat, you did a very poor job of looking after us when we had no state. All right, okay. Have we got beef in the chat? Hang on, what's going on in the chat? What's going? Theodore is saying Sean would make an amazing school teacher. I used to teach. I didn't used to teach at all. I did some teaching at schools. I was absolutely terrified, guys. It's terrifying going and speaking to kids. Debatable Lands is saying cowardly is a strong word when no one's backing you apart from blackmailed Trump. Cowardly is a strong word when no one's backing you. I think I must be missing things here, guys. I think people have got beef in the chat. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know there's going to be obviously there's going to be conflicting opinions in the chat. There is. Just be polite with your conflicting opinions. Don't be rude. Don't be aggressive. And just talk about things, and maybe we'll all find neutral ground. We'll all find common ground and we can all build spaceships together and go into the cosmos. And Cindy Archer is saying, thank you, Raven. Night, everyone. And any DL clankers. I don't know what DL clankers are, guys, but I'm saying good night to the DL clankers as well. Listen, guys, I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, as I always am. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, bell notification, all those things that help me out. I'll be back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, and I bid you good evening. If I can turn this off. No, it's not turning off. You know what? I may not be going off. Sometimes it does this. Are we getting off? Can I turn this off? I think we're off. I don't even know.